All right, we got the 2011 LR4 back in, my daughter's. We're just finishing up doing the little things to make it all up to date on its maintenance and uh, safe and reliable for my daughter. So today we're going to be changing the front and rear axle fluid, differential fluid, transfer case fluid, and if we have time before work, we'll do the transmission fluid and filter. Once that's all done, we can put our skid plates on, button it all up. We cleaned the engine yesterday. Got the engine covers back on. This one was missing the one. They seem to always be missing the battery one, but looks pretty good. It's been running good. Suspension didn't blow. We had it up on off-road height in the shop here. Let it sit overnight. You can see it's still in off-road height. So our air leak is fixed. We'll continue. So once we get this gear oils and transmission fluid done, the only thing we got to do is fix the mirror, the driver's mirror. I accidentally broke it, so I got to replace it. And we got to work on the parking brake. That'll be probably its own video. We're getting some strange faults on it. So let me get under this, get it up on jack stands, and probably start with the front differential.
Okay, so we are doing the front differential. First, you always want to remove your fill plug just to make sure you can get it out. The worst thing could happen is you pull out your drain plug and then go pull your full fill plug and you can't get it out. So that's the reason behind that. The fill plug on this one is on the side of the differential. You'll reach up here where the control arm is and you'll feel it. It takes a number 8 Allen head. There's what I use right there. You remove that. Then just a standard 3/8 drive goes into your drain plug. So you just use your 3/8 drive ratchet, and we'll take that out. And now let's see if this has been replaced and how it looks. Oh, that looks clean. That's pretty good. There's some debris you're gonna get. This is always magnets usually on the differential, so you'll get some wear materials. That's it. Cool beans. We'll get this drained out and we'll move on to the transfer case.
All right, so we use this Mobil 1 fully synthetic 7590 gear oil for the front axles on our Land Rovers and also for the rear axle if it does not have the locking rear differential.
Okay, now we're moving on to the transfer case. On the back of the transfer case, you'll see your fill plug. It's on the driver's side or left-hand side if you're sitting in the front seat. And your drain plug's right here. Again, same thing. Move your fill plug, then remove your drain plug. Make sure you got this takes specific. I don't know. It's called synthetic transfer case gear oil. So keep that in mind. So we're gonna go ahead, pull this, then pull that, let it drain, refill it with what we bought. I'll show it to you, and we'll move on to the rear differential, then we'll jump back up to the front transmission. Okay, so we're getting ready to put the transfer case fluid in. This is what I use. I do have another brand. I'm going to try on my next Land Rover. We'll see how it looks. This is the best way I found to put this one in by the quart. It'd be nice if I bought about a 5-gallon pail and just had a hand pump. It would be a lot easier. But no, we just this, you turn it to close it, and then and open it, and then just squeeze it in there until she fills up to the fill hole. All right, we're gonna get this fluid in there, nothing fancy, and we'll move on to the rear differential. And that is a locking rear differential, so there's a specific fluid for that. All right, we got the front differential done, the transfer case done. Now we're moving on to the rear differential. Again, like I said, this is a electronic locking differential. So if you come in from the rear of the vehicle, it's a little easier. You got your drain plug there and your fill plug right there. So easy to get to from the rear. I don't even think I need to drop the spare tire. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pull that fill plug out, and then I'll try to capture pulling out the drain plug, see if this one's got any debris like my son's LR3 did. Looking pretty good. Looks like this vehicle was maintained. See the difference? So this has more miles, about the same amount of miles as my son's LR3. So his had all kinds of debris, same differential, electronic locking. So all the fluids have been looking pretty good on this one. This is about 196,000 miles on this LR4. So that's a good sign. I think it's been taken care of. We'll get this one drained out. I'll get the good fluid over here, and then we'll move on to the transmission. We're making good time. All right, so we're gonna fill the rear axle fluid. This is what we're using. Synthetic gear oil for multi-disc locking differentials. So it's from Rock Oil. Putting it in the same way. We'll get that put in there, and then we'll move on to the transmission. All right, we're draining the transmission fluid. Just use a number 10 Allen head to get the drain plug out right between the pipe and the cross member. We'll just let this drain for a bit while we get all our new parts installed or ready to be installed. We'll have to take this pan off. We will have to remove that transfer case, transmission mounting bolt, and then jack the transmission up about an inch or so, half an inch. Gives us enough room to get in there and get the bolts out and the pan out. So again, we're just going to let it drain for a bit, put the plug back in, and start taking the pan off. All right, I just laid out all our parts for our kit came with. This is from All Makes 4x4. It's a metal pan conversion kit. Pretty much looks identical to the same thing I get from, or I've gotten from Atlantic British. So you got a replaceable filter, some metal oil pan, new bolts, washers, and a new gasket. So that's what came in the kit. Again, this is from All Makes 4x4, not a sponsor. And then I pulled out, this is what we're running, Liquid Moly, Top Tech 1800, fully synthetic automatic transmission fluid. So this meets the spec that you need for this ZF transmission. So we're going to let it finish draining, and then we'll start pulling that pan off, and I'll show you what I do. Okay, so we're going to do a transmission fluid and filter change on a 2011 LR4. This happens to be my daughter's. This one, there's the only difference between an LR3 and an LR4 is the LR4 they chose not to put the heat shield and heat shield bracket around the oil pan. So that actually makes it a little easier. You don't have to deal with that. We can go straight to the oil pan bolts. But before we do that, we need to remove that bolt. The nut is a secured nut, so you don't have to hold it or anything. You just got to break the bolt loose. I use a breaker bar, 1/2-inch drive, because she's usually pretty tight. And then before you zip it out, just put a jack or a transmission jack underneath the actual transfer case to support it, because once you pull that bolt out, it won't be supporting the transmission anymore. And then you'll carefully just raise it up until there's resistance, and I'll give you an extra 1/2-inch clearance to get to the bolts on the oil pan here where the cross member is, and there's a front cross member. That one's usually the toughest I find. But yeah, so we're going to get that bolt out. First I'm going to put my plug back in so I don't have it dripping around me. We'll take that bolt out, get the jack underneath there, and then start taking these bolts out. We'll catch you then. All right, we got the oil pan off. See, just snap it off like I normally do. This one, the O-rings, make sure you get the O-ring that comes out if it gets stuck up there. I haven't had one get stuck, but I know on other transmissions I've worked on, they've gotten stuck up there. So you got your magnets. The new pan comes with new magnets, so don't worry about that. Keep a look in the shop. This is normal wear material, so don't panic about that. Yeah, that's our oil pan. I'll let it drain completely out into my drain pan before I throw it away. So now we'll clean up everything and get ready to install the new filter and pan. All right, so we have the new pan here, all clean, ready to go. We got the gasket set in place. We'll grab 2 bolts and we'll get it fitted up in there. We got the new filter installed. ready to go. So let's start putting this thing together. All right, so we got the surface all cleaned up. We got the new got the new transmission filter installed. Just grab a little bit of dripping oil from the valve body and put on that O-ring, so it just slides right in and it fits nice and snug in there. So now we got in there, we will get the new pan installed.
Okay, so we got the car all done. We got the transmission fluid filter change. Now you want to make sure you do your transmission adaptation reset. So this is on my Autel. This is where I would go for my individual computers, but you can't do it from here. You gotta see if I can go back one more. So we'll go into service, and we'll go to powertrain, and we'll go to transmission control module adaptation clear. Okay, press OK to confirm. Second ignition on. Move the gear shifter to park. It's in park. Okay, this routine is to clear adaptation within the control unit. This may be required when replacing the transmission, downloading software, or any other transmission related activities. Press OK. So this basically allows the transmission to relearn its functions with the newer fluid and filter. Press OK. Turn the ignition off. Press OK. Turn the ignition on. Press OK. Then it's going to read fault code. Shouldn't be any. Press OK. But once this finishes clearing, I think we have everything done on here. So park and brake would be the only thing. Just to kind of recap, we're going to go take it to get alignment done on it. So we did timing, had to replace a camshaft, did all the coolant crossover pipes, a new water pump, new belts, serpentine belts, stretch belt. Press OK. We did new brakes, pads, rotors, and wear pad sensors, new lower control arms on the front. And I think that's it. So we're pretty happy with it. Now she gets to drive it and enjoy it. I'm not going to bore you with this anymore. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more issue-specific videos, hopefully shorter in nature. Thanks for watching.